In my survival world, I have placed over 26,000 birch leaf blocks. Now that in itself doesn't mean that I've made good birch trees, but after placing all of those blocks, I think I've learned a thing or two. Today I want to show you how I make my birch trees, and this of course works really well for a spruce tree as well, and it doesn't take too much figuring out to work out how to use it for both. Now building trees can be far more tricky than what it may seem at first, but that is because there really is no correct way to make them. But I think the best way to tackle something like that is to just make a few steps that you can follow every time, and that means you got a good looking tree every single time as well. So to kick things off, we're going to start with the super basic way of making these trees, which we're going to build off a little bit later and improve a little bit more. But I think this basic one is probably going to be the tree for a lot of you guys. It's going to be the one that gets you 90% of the way there. And honestly, it's a great looking tree. Also, before we go any further, I won't be using the custom leaf textures for this build, and that's because I want to show you guys the tree because they get in the way, but I do want to explain something about custom leaf textures a little bit later. So the first thing we're going to do is get the height of the tree correct, and the height that I think works quite well is between 13 and maybe 17 blocks, I would say. So we'll go up 13, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We'll just go to the lowest one, and we'll work our way from here, and of course if you want to make it taller, you can make it taller, but it does get a little bit awkward when you start going above, I'd say around block number 17, but you can always try a few things out. Now the next part is the base of the tree. So I'm going to split this into the trunk, which is already the thing we've just done. Then we're going to do the base of the leaves, which we'll put over there. And then we'll do the middle, and then we'll do the top. And I think that's a good way to split it up. So we've got 3 different places where we do the leaves. We do the bottom, we do the rest of it, and then we do the top. So the bottom, I like to do this just to start things off. We can do 2 blocks. We could even leave 3 blocks at the bottom like that, just so that you've got a bit of headroom when you walk through here. And also you do want to see a bit of the base of the tree itself. So we'll do this over here. We'll do 2 blocks up, and bear in mind what I'm going to be showing you here is the very basic way of doing it. I will show you a more advanced way of doing this a bit later, but this way is going to be the easy way to do it and get it right every time way. So we'll go ahead and we'll just go up the tree like this, where we've put these 2 at the bottom, which are our base ones. You can put that to 3, but that's a bit more advanced for the later one. But we'll just go ahead and do this over here, where we're doing the inside part of the tree. We'll just do another one like that on these, and we'll alternate. So you can see we're doing a little bit of a checkerboard sort of thing, where we've got 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and we'll just keep going around the tree like this. And what this is doing is this is creating the inside leaves for the tree, while also leaving a little bit of space inside, which is also very important. And I will talk about that a bit later of why that's important, if you're wondering why it's important to leave blocks open in the middle, but that goes into a bit of why I use leaf texture packs and why I think that is a good thing to use for your leaves. So we'll just put these in all the way to the top, and then we can get started on the next layer of leaves. So now that I've got to the very top of this tree, what we're going to do is we're going to start doing the next layer, and I find that this is the perfect width for a tree because of course if you go out 1 block, that tree is going to be 5 blocks wide. If you look at it there, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think 7 is just ridiculous, and anything less just looks a little bit too small for a tree. So I think 5 is the sweet spot for these birch trees. And what we're going to do here is we're going to keep it very simple, and where we've placed an empty block over here, we'll just come out 1 block and we'll place a block in there. So there you can see empty block over there. We'll do it again, just like that, and we'll go up each side like this. So we'll just replace these blocks with an empty block like that. So we're just alternating these 2. And as I say, this is super simple, and we'll work this out like that. And then of course, when we do get a bit more complicated, we can start putting in a few more random things around the place. But we'll do that side. We'll also do this side here, where we just go ahead, fill it in like that. So that is what I'm going to do all the way to the top, and then that tree will almost be ready. So there they are. You can kind of see this starting to take a little bit of shape, and of course it does look very symmetrical, and as I said, it's basic, but that's why it's symmetrical. And if we really want to get a little bit wild right now, we could even do something like this. Pull that one down, put a little extra block in there. Just break it up a bit, but let's go to the top here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go up about, 5, 6, 7 blocks, so there's 3, 4, 5, let's do 6, we'll do it in the middle of these, and what we're going to do now is we're going to get a real good tip of the tree, so we're going to go up, and we're going to go up, and have it come to a nice little point at the top there, and I find that using the fence posts in the middle here can work alright, but I think the leaves work a lot better, in my opinion, than what using fence posts or walls or something to make it taper taper off into a smaller trunk. So for this, what I like to do is, because we don't have the middle block, which is of course the wood block in the middle there, we will end up having to make the leaves a bit more thick to make the tree really look a bit more filled out at the top, because having just a plain leaf block, you can see more sky than leaf a lot of the time, and I don't like that. So I think the best way to do it is we just go up, leave about 2 blocks there, we'll go up here, leave about 3 blocks, we can make it a bit different on each side, and we could do the same there, 3, and let's just go up here, and we'll do 2 over there. And this is where we can get a little bit wild. We can go over here, just make this, obviously come to a point on that, make sure that comes to a point as well. Go up 1 block in there, maybe go another block here, and I think this is probably the best part. If you're going to do any randomizing of the tree, just doing it up to the top here, not too much. You can maybe do 1 there, just put another 1 in for good luck, and of course we'll just fill those in there. And we've just put a few leaves in random positions. You can see that there. So 1 goes 1 block higher, 1 goes 1 block down. Now, a tip is don't go too much more than 1 block, because if you see, if we do 2 blocks there, it looks a little bit silly. And of course, if we go 3 blocks over there, then what's the point in coming up to the tip of the tree there? So that is the super basic way of doing it. And of course, we can also have a look at what this looks like with leaf textures on as well. So here it is with my leaf textures. And the reason why this looks so darn good is because the leaf textures make the leaves a little bit more bushy. And these sorts of packs are becoming more and more frequent nowadays. You're going to see them more often than not. And I can't blame you, because the leaves just look so much better than if you didn't have this texture pack on. And one thing I want to quickly explain why this does look a lot better, and why, of course, you would leave the blocks in the middle out, is because when you do place leaf blocks next to each other, they do become one big block. So for instance, the game won't render the other side of these blocks when you place these together. So when you make a big slab of leaves on the tree and the tree looks really empty, it's because you've just placed so many blocks together and they don't have the other block that's showing on the other side. So for instance, say I had this block over here and then the next block behind it. You should be able to see the next block behind it. And of course, if I didn't have my texture pack on right now, you should be able to see that there. But of course, with these leaf textures, the way that these help out with that is because they've got these little pieces that come over here, like these little paper thin pieces on each side, they actually get rendered in the middle of this leaf block. So if you look very carefully, you can see that they are meshing together in the middle there. And that makes the tree look so much more full and rounded and bushy, of course, with the shapes on the outside, and also keeps the inside looking really full. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of insight onto why I think that works. Now, of course, we can get a bit more tricky with this tree, so I think let's get into that. So we're going to get a little bit more advanced with this tree, and it's not too much more, but I do want to do this in survival mode so that I can show you exactly how I would do it from the survival mode perspective, because I would imagine a lot of you guys are trying to build this in survival, and it really is not hard, but it is a little bit more difficult than just building it in creative, and I think it is something that you will need to practice just to know where you're at in the tree. But we're going to knock 2 birds out with 1 stone, and we're going to do this, as I say, in survival mode. So first of all, I like to go up a few blocks like this, maybe 5, I think we're up right now. Make it random. Make sure if you're doing a few of these, keep them random. If they all look the same, it's not going to look too good. So you can see there, we're going up 2, we'll go up 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go maybe 2 on this side over here. Already making a few things random, and of course, that was that bottom base that we just did to start that tree off over there. Also, another hint is use yourself some diamond boots, and also use a diamond axe as well, with silk touch and also feather falling. That's going to help you out a lot. And of course, ender pearls are always good in these sorts of things as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make this, again, just sort of random, like what we did before. But what we're going to do is we'll leave a few blocks. So for instance here, we'll leave that block in over there. We'll leave that block in over there. So the first few we want to keep within 1 block to the tree, and we don't want to go out just yet. So you can see there we did 2, then we went 1 out. Over here we could do that as well, but I like to do it a little bit differently, where we can, for instance, go 1, 2, 3, and then start going out over here. And we can do it on our way up. And that's the way I like to make it a bit easier when I build in survival, is to just build up with the tree and know where I'm at. So you can see we've got, what, maybe 5 blocks there. I'll start it on this block over here. So if we go out there, don't forget, you can remove a block, remove that block there. And now we should be starting off at a good part of the tree. So we should be able to see what that looks like from the outside, and I think it's starting to take a little bit of shape just for the bottom. Another tip that I'd give you is to always go up maybe 2 or 3 blocks at maximum over there, so you deal with a few sections at a time. So for instance here, what we'll do is we'll just go up a few blocks like this, and when we get to the top of that tree, we'll just go up to the next one, and we'll do the next one. And you don't need to count, you can just feel where you want the tree to be. It doesn't have to be the exact height every time. As I say, making it a bit more varied is a good thing. And of course, also in terms of the leaves, you can sometimes have 2 that show the bark of the tree. It looks a little bit nicer than just seeing the bark hidden behind leaves. There's a lot of little ways you can make this tree look a lot more interesting than just plain placing it like that. But of course, that still looks pretty darn good. Once you get to the top of the tree, the rest of it is all pretty much the same. I just like to keep it a little bit more varied, like what we did on the last one there at the end, where we started getting a little bit wild with the tree. I think we can do the same thing over here. We can get a little bit more crazy with the extra little blocks we place around the place. For instance, there, we'll do one there, we'll do one there. We'll also go up maybe 2 blocks over here. And we can have a look at what this tree looks like from the bottom, but I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna look quite good. Also, here is something that I've just ran into. Sometimes you'll find that you leave a few blocks in a row like that. Try avoid that. If you want, just put a block over there, or you could always take a block out. But in this situation, I think we need a block over there just to make sure it feels like it is going up on the tree. So sort of just making a few triangles looking up, and I think over there, from my experience, I'd say that one needs something just over there, but that's all the sort of stuff that you get with time. And of course, there's the feather falling working quite well. The tree looks a little bit lopsided, so always taking a step back is advised. And you can see over here, we've got a block that we need to put in. Maybe what we could do is we could do something like that, there, and there. And we can even leave that block in. We don't have to get rid of everyone. So let's have a look at this here. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. Of course, without the textures, that one does look a lot more interesting right now because, as I say, it's all filled in the middle. And you can see what I mean, where the middle blocks over there have got more faces being shown than these ones here, where we sometimes have a few next to each other. And that is where the texture packs really do help out. But over here, let's check this out. Yeah, it looks quite good. This side over here, you can see if you look at that big flat line over there, gonna have to fix that. But the tree is not always gonna be right when you get off of it. Sometimes you have to just take a step back, have a look, and decide what you think the tree should look like. Now, of course, getting rid of stuff is always advised. Don't ever feel like once you've placed a block that it has to be there. I mean, be willing, if the tree doesn't work, to tear the whole tree down and start again, because it's definitely worth it in the end. So that is how you build the trees themselves, but there is a little bit more to it that can really make your trees stand out and make your trees feel like they are part of your world. And the few tips that I could give you that would be good to think about while you're doing your trees, or at least before you start doing your trees, preferably actually before you start doing your trees, is to make your ground a bit more varied. And you'll see what I mean when you do that. If you're going to be putting a few of these down, having your ground varied is going to make the trees look that much better. And of course, if they are going up with the ground, it'll look cool from the top as well. The other important things are, of course, make sure you randomize where you start the tree on the trunks, as well as how tall you go with them. And also another one is to, of course, build many of these trees, because having one by itself, it can look alright, but having a lot, that really makes it work. And if you are going to do that, do it in little bits. Do a bit one day, do a bit another day, and all of a sudden you'll have yourself a big forest. The other thing you should not overlook is the ground stuff. For instance, bushes, rocks, grass, all that sort of stuff just makes it fit in that much better. And of course, one of the most important things you should not forget is that if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you are new, of course, be sure to subscribe, because we're gonna have more of these coming out. And we also have our survival series that are going on right now, so you can check those out as well, linked in the description right now. Now for today, that is all I have for you. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope this has helped you, and I will see you in the next one.